So what I'm saying is, it's not only about the China, but it is in the market. In the more matured market, in more developed market, 2%, 3% growth rate is about what we have. However, if you are looking into the online space, in last 2014, in US, the online was growing at 14%. And actually, in China, it was 35%. Both of the figures are from Euromonitor. So it is actually much, much bigger, 5 times, 6 times bigger than the overall growth rate of the country. So this is where the growth is. So why not going into this and then trying to find out what you can do in there? People talk about the cost because they cannot have the growth. They cannot meet the changing consumers. But then, if you're just reducing your cost of operation, that is actually a very short-term goal that you are achieving, and you will not be really achieving anything in the better sense. So the cost will be always the matter that you need to deal with. However, only with the enough growth and enough challenges. So on the cost side, of course, people are saying that it is more efficient to deal with the consumers on the online. It is cheaper. It is more effective channel to deal with them. However, it requires more investment upfront as well. So you need to build up your website. If you're not doing it, you probably need to have a lot of partners in terms of a platform builder, in terms of a logistics company. However, still, it will be cheaper, but then you will need some cost to deal with. The point I'm making here is you need to go in there, right? And then who you are dealing with there is the person who are having a lot of digital devices in front. So they want to have your product anytime. It's not only on your business hour from 9 to 5, 9 to 6. They order things at night, and they complain if it's not there within a day or so. So you have to deal with different people than those people you used to deal with. So they want to get the personalized greeting. They want to get differentiated experience. They want to have a better price, better quality, and convenience and intelligence. The way that you need to deal with them is because they are actually creating your product. What I'm trying to say is they are building up and then they are defining your brand. It's not really your brand that you are talking about in the newspaper, but they will be talking about your brand in the website, Twitter, Facebook, and they're gonna picture them and then they're gonna put it on the Instagram. And they're gonna be your advocate, or they're gonna be someone who will be complaining about your product. So unless you are going into the online and then deal with them, you will be losing this opportunity of defining your product. So why not going in there, right? So I said that you have to go in there, but then is SME better than the MNCs? Is SME doing better in e-commerce than the MNCs? Do they have a motivation on going in there? Well, the typical SME characteristics are like this. They have fewer stakeholders, meaning the owner and then the management is tailored to 1 or 2 people. And then they have a closed ecosystem, meaning that they have probably 1 or 2 partners to work with, and then probably a small number of people who are working for them. And they have a very simple structure. Rather than a very complex operation, their value chain is quite simple. And they have a limited resources, not only in terms of the budget that they can invest, but in terms of the resources as well. So with all these things, is it really a good thing that they can go into the e-commerce, or is it a bad thing? I would say in the beginning, it will be quite hard for them to go into the e-commerce because someone needs to make the decision. And if you are actually in a big MNCs, there are many people who have different experiences and they have the knowledge. So they can discuss and they see the opportunity there and they will find a way to go into the e-commerce. However, in SMEs, the person who is making decision, probably the owner of the company, will have to make the decision from his own knowledge. And he has a very small number of people around him who can help him. So in the beginning, it will be difficult to adapt to the changes. However, Once they have made up their mind that he wants to really go into the e-commerce, it will be better for them because he's the owner of the company. So he has a long-term thinking, and also he has a high commitment than the people who are in the MNCs. And the better point is they cannot really pay a lot, so they will be starting small. You cannot be successful in every try that you are giving a push. So if they fail, they can start again. In MNCs, if you are building up a website and then if you are starting the e-commerce, it usually takes up to 1 year, or the earliest you can have something is within 6 months. However, in SMEs, you can start something within a month or two, and then you can start it again if you don't like this website. So you can try as many as possible. Well, not as many as possible, but you can try better than the MNCs. So there will be more chance of getting the niche strategy that you can have, unlike the MNCs. So going into the e-commerce, I said it is hard to start in the beginning, but it will be better for them to have a long-term strategy, and it will be better to tweak around and then have a niche strategy. So if they go into the e-commerce, is there anything good about them? What is the opportunities that they can have? Well, rather than describing it as defining as a silver bullet, I would say that this is a kind of opportunity window for them. Because without this kind of e-commerce, probably small SMEs will not have chance to go abroad. So global market, it is a window to open the opportunities in the global market. So removing the physical limitation in terms of the time, in terms of the location, will be the first opportunity that they can have. But then, because you are directly actually transacting or interacting with the consumers and customers, you will be saving a lot of transaction cost. So it will be in terms of dealing with the partners, in terms of distributors or wholesalers, or sometimes it will be reducing the time or the money that you are spending on the retail stores and training the people there. And then also it will be a new avenue for you, a differentiated marketing avenue. I was talking about this Gen Z in the beginning, right? So they want to have a different way of communicating rather than the person sitting in here, right? So, but then without the internet channel, it will not be possible to have this kind of thing. So a differentiated marketing avenue will be another opportunity that you can have when you are going into the e-commerce. And then I'm saying it will be a good chance to have a direct communication and insight from the end consumer, because without this kind of e-commerce channel, you will not have this direct communication. You will probably go through different distributors and then wholesalers and then the retailer, and then you will not getting any information about your actual consumers who are consuming your product and services. So by going into this e-commerce channels, you will be able to get this kind of insight about your consumer, which will be put into your product development again, and you will be able to benefit from this kind of opportunity. Minimizing the transport obstacles. Probably if you want to go into another market, you will still need to have a limited budget, but then you will need to have some kind of inventories there. So there will need to be some kind of upfront inventories. You need to bring in those fulfillment ready to distribute in this market. However, with the e-commerce, you can try out different market with a kind of dropship. Dropship is something that you are actually sending the product from your country to another country without any kind of fulfillment up front. And then you can test the market. If you see the demand from the market, then you can start something different. So with the e-commerce, actually, you can have different ways of reducing your cost up front. And also, it will be minimizing a lot of transport obstacles as well. Is it only good things? I mean, well, there will be some barriers. You need to go through these barriers, overcome, and then it will not be something that you can fix. I mean, there will be something that you cannot fix. So I categorize them into two parts. So on the left side is the internal part. On the right side is external things. So internally, yes, I talked about this limited resources, right? So in terms of the experienced resources, you will be having some trouble with. I'm dealing with many companies in here who are trying to do e-commerces in this area. it is really hard to find the resources who have the experience around e-commerce. Well, there are a lot of people who wants to do it, but if you are looking at the people who have experience, it is quite difficult. But you want to have someone expert in your company to help you, and it will be a challenge for you. Also, in any companies, people don't want to be changed, right? So when a small company who is doing fine with the normal traditional way of a business wants to go into the e-commerce, probably there will be some kind of a change management challenges that you're going to face. People will be saying, why? I don't see the opportunity there. I don't see the demand. Why do we need to act differently? Why do we need to deal with the people who are from another country over the night hours? But you have to deal with this kind of things to come up to the e-commerce field. Second thing will be about the financial. I told you that there are limited resources. So the amount of money you can put into this kind of e-commerce is limited. And e-commerce is not really only about building up the website and then doing the sales there. Actually, it is about launching the business and also increase the traffic in your website. Also, you have to fulfill your order, and then you have to deliver the product to the people end mile. And then also you have to have a call center, you have to have some kind of interaction with the customers. So it's a big, actually it's a new company business that you are building. And since you have limited resources, you have to prioritize what you want to invest, and you have to probably put a small number of resources into different buckets. So that will be a challenge that you need to go through. Probably you need to prioritize what you need to invest, and there will be the answer for you. Technical will be another challenge for you. So it can be internal technical thing or external technical thing, but probably external thing will be covered in the social area. So internally, you will need to have someone who is very good at IT, right? Whether it's cyber security, whether it's about the performance of your website, whether it's about tracking the right order, you will need to have someone who is dealing with this kind of thing. So it aligned with the organizational, the resources problem. But then, yes, it is actually the core problem that people are facing in SMEs. Externally, the first one is about the social. So different countries, different markets are behaving differently. So we see a lot of people buying online in more matured market. So in US, UK, if you go to Northern Asian countries, there are people who are buying groceries in the website, and then they want them delivered to you within 3 hours, 4 hours in the same day. However, here, still people are going into the shopping mall, and then they want to see the people in front of you, and then probably they want to have transactions more personally rather than over the website. And also, when they are buying things, credit card is not really that popular here. So cash on delivery is the means of buying the things here. And also delivery, you are not having the right partners in this country yet. So you will have some issues with the logistics company who will be managing the end mile experience of the customer. And end mile experience is really important because this is the only time that the consumers are actually meeting with someone from your side. And you are actually partnering with someone who is not capable of it, so there is some issues. Political, it's not really political things about the politics around up there, but it is more about the change management of different politicians. So when one government is coming in, they want to have different rules and regulations around e-commerce. And when it's changed, then they're going to have another set of regulations. Sometimes it's about protecting their own business. Sometimes it's about protecting their own people. So there are different ways of going around it, but then you cannot, when you cannot really expect what is the directional way of changing this policies, you will have some problems around it. The final thing about the external challenges, which is about regulatory, it's not really about the politics that I mentioned right now, but it is about the traditional channels and then online channels. some mature countries, they do have differentiated laws around the e-commerce. So it is tailored to e-commerce, what can be done in e-commerce and what cannot be done in e-commerce. And if there's any kind of dispute between you and the consumers, what is the rules to be applied? However, in some countries, it's not ready yet. So if you're applying the same laws that you are applying to the traditional channels, then there will be some kind of a gap between what you can be doing and then what they expect you to comply. So these things need to be some challenges that you have to go through when you are going into the e-commerce side. Having said that, this is only 20-minute talk that I'm doing today. This is my last slide. I want to make sure that you understand that e-commerce is not really a website and then it's selling things and buying things from that website. Actually, you have to have a right answer for your questions when you are entering the e-commerce. So I would say it's 3 questions plus probably 1 more question. The 3 questions would be first question would be, why really do you want to go into the e-commerce place? So is it to make your business more effective and efficient? Or is it to have a better chance of going abroad? Or is it something that you want to do personally? You have to know why you really want to go into the e-commerce. And then the second question you want to answer would be who you want to target and then who you want to partner with. Because you cannot do everything by yourself. I'm talking about procurement, marketing, payment, logistics. There are a lot of things that you have to go with. And then if you are a product maker, there will not be possible that you will be dealing with all these different functions and different areas by yourself. So who you're going to be working with and then who you're going to be targeting is very important. I'm talking about this who in front of what, because in some countries, it's not ready. So, for example, you want to target those people at 20s and 30s in some countries, and you find out they don't have the connectivity. In some countries, you want to go into the e-commerce, and then you want to have a partner who can deliver everything to the nationwide. You don't have any company who can do that. It's only the post office. So if that's the problem, then your problem is not solved, right? So you have to find out about the market first and then who is available, who is your targeting, before you define your business. I say define business comes next because in some countries, even e-commerce is not something that foreign investors can invest. They can, it's one country around here, they can permit you to invest in intermediary thing, so open market, but then e-commerce is not something that they can let you go in. So you have to have all this regulatory knowledge, also different partners in that country before you define what kind of a business you want to actually define and then establish. Okay, so with that kind of answers, probably you know what needs to be done. And my final add-on one question will be, you have to make sure that you are actually communicating with the consumer and customers by yourself. So you either need to have your own people or you need to have a partner who is trustful, and they will need to listen to those consumers and customers readily so that it will be in return can be the input to your business again, and you will be having a better business in the coming days. Having said that, I will have just one last word, and then I will let Jagjit place here. My last word is, do not really think that this is a tool that you can leverage on the online. E-commerce is not a tool. E-commerce is a different way of doing your business. So once you are going into e-commerce, you have to start which market you are going into, which business model you're going to do, what kind of ecosystem you're going to have. It's not just putting your product images on the website and then selling it through website. If you were thinking about e-commerce as selling it through the website, well, it was a good start. But now, why don't you take a step back and have a bigger picture? Because this is the playground that you have to play in the future. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sungkyu Chang. And now, do you need the mic, Jagjit? Okay, I'll pass the mic on to Jagjit Kaur from Hong Leong Islamic Bank, Berhad.
Hi, afternoon, everyone. While my colleague here has spoken about how you look at it from the seller's point of view, I'm going to take you along how the banks are looking at it. So I'm going to talk about the evolution of e-commerce in the banking industry and how the SMEs can embrace this, right? Okay, let's go back in time. I remember when I was a little girl, I'd follow my mom to the bank. We'd have coin boxes. The lady behind the counter will count them, and she'll write in ledger cards, right? That was the era those days. So I guess when you pay your payroll, you'll have a long queue. This guy will be counting money, writing on a sheet of paper, and paying salaries. Okay, then came about checks. They started writing checks. Then from checks, you still, you don't have those check machines that you see at the banks today where you can drop it in or you scan it and you get a copy and you immediately know how much is in your float balance in your account. After that came about branch banking. Long queues at the branch. This payroll guy will come with a floppy disk to put it into the system to upload files, right? We have moved along slowly. Then came about self-service terminals. I can take cash to a machine, put it into the machine and get it credited. Then after that, we started having cards, credit cards. Wow, you've got a credit cards in the 80s, it was a big thing. Today you've got credit cards, you probably got bills attached to it, right? So now we've moved towards the era of debit cards, and it's something that's growing. Then we moved to online banking. Online banking is something so good that as a business, it's like you're having a teller within your office. Without leaving your premises, you can actually transact. You can pay funds from one bank to another within the bank and also to buy stuff, right? So now you don't even need to go out to shop. You can shop from home. Next, what comes next? Mobile banking, right? Today you can use your handphone to buy stuff. You can point it at something, capture a barcode and get it paid, right? So we are evolving. And if we do not evolve with that, we'll be left behind. I went for a dinner a couple of months ago. There was this 10-month-old baby. So I was talking to the mom, baby making noise. The mom gave the baby the iPhone. So baby playing with the iPhone rang. Mom took it away, baby started crying. The maid gave her a Nokia. She pressed, didn't work, threw it away. So that's the generation that we're moving to, right? Okay, but the thing is, with that, we all have mindsets. A lot of us are from what? We're not in Gen X, that's for sure. Some of us like to think we're Gen Y. But the thing is, things are moving. And today, I always tell my colleagues, when you do digital, you're investing for the future. It's not ROIs for tomorrow, but you're capturing your future customers. Do we need to do it? Yes. If you're an SME, do you need to embrace it? Definitely. You have to change your mindset. You cannot say that today I'm still going to go by cash. If you go electronic, what happens is that one is it's safer for you, right? You don't have cash in your drawer. Two is that it helps with your reconciliation. But you need to move out of your comfort zone. Technology, what do you invest in? Laptop, a computer. Of course, you need to have certain amount of bandwidth, right? But the investment is not so great, okay? Of course, everyone's scared of security, right? You're so scared of electronic fraud and whatnot. But when you talk about SME systems, you've got makers, checkers, you've got tokens, and all this is within your control. Of course, you think of man in the middle kind of theft. But the thing is, the banks are also very careful in ensuring that those things do not happen. What's most important to you? Your PIN, your passwords, your tokens. They are the most important security items that you keep. Some of us can be pretty gullible. I had a banker colleague who looked at the website and said, God, this is so one of my banks. And she actually went in. But fortunately, when you go in and you click, you've got this security picture. That was different. And only then she realized that it was not hers. She keyed in her user ID but not her password. So, we just have to be careful in how we do things. But when it comes to corporates and SMEs, you have tokens, right? So every time you do a monetary transaction, your token is triggered and you key that in. Only then the transaction goes through. So we need to move away from that. Okay, I'm going to share something with you. This is, we're saying that is technology tough? It's something that even kids can do. Okay, sorry. Just a moment, yeah? Makes you wonder, was the guy trying not to pay? Well, it's as simple as that, right? You can actually, a kid can do it. That was a point of sale gadget. It's fixed into a smartphone. You insert a debit card or a credit card in, you capture your payment. So the banks have gone that far. What's stopping the SME from using that? When someone watched this and they said, wow, the makcik who sells nasi lemak, morning breakfast, nasi lemak is pretty popular at Malaysians, she can use this gadget. Would she be robbed? No. What happens? Your debit card gets debited or your credit card gets charged. And what happens to, where does it get credited? Straight away to the SME's account. It's as simple as that, right? You want to recon, you're an SME, you sign up cash management and you'll see every single transaction coming in. So in Hong Leong, now I'm going to sell a bit of Hong Leong, right? We've got government customers, so we've got a platform built for the customers, for the government customers. We've got Connect Biz, which is actually meant for SMEs and corporate customers. And of course, we've got our Connect, which is meant for our retail customers, okay? Barriers to entry, again, it's mindset, right? Internal processes, the constraints that you face with those processes. Security concerns, what I mentioned earlier, we have all of this. The one item I didn't touch on was cost. Locally here today, we've got a few types of transactions. We've got intra-bank transactions, 0 fee. We've got interbank transactions between one bank to another. You have got what is called IBG. From one bank to another, it costs you 10 cents. How quick do you get your funds? Within 6 hours. How many windows do you have in a day? 5 windows. You pay before 5 p.m., you get it by 11, right? So it's convenient, it's fast. You've got another product called IBFT, it's an instant transfer. You get that even faster simply because it's within minutes. And it's between one bank to another. So what happens is that I key in the person's name, I key in the account, type of account and bank. Immediately it goes to that bank. It pulls out all the information of the customer. His name, everything is there. So you immediately know who you're paying to, right? So IBG, people ask, how sure are you? You don't check anything, right? But an account number. So you have another field where you can check a business, you can key in a business registration number or person's ID. The bank has to make sure that the account name, number, and this ID matches before they pay. So if security is a concern, I think nothing is 100% secure. You carry cash, you can still be robbed. This is more secure than that, right? Okay. Benefits of e-commerce. It's convenient. You need not drive your car, get stuck in the traffic jam, park it somewhere. You can do it from the leisure of your office, right? Of course, it saves time. As I said, it's 10 cents. The instant transfer that I spoke of today is free. It's free for the next 3 months. These are promotions by our central bank to actually promote electronic payments, okay? And it's pretty comprehensive. It's end-to-end. One, I pay, convenience, or I collect. I get the bank to collect for me. Two, my recon is done for it. Okay, let's take a step further. What can an SME do? A bank can even do invoicing for him or her, right? We've got collections, we've got payments, we've got both sides of it. Okay, let's talk about collections. I don't think I have much time. I'll try to cover as much as I can. We've got invoicing, right? We've got FPX or direct debit. We've got JomPay. We've got merchant terminals. You saw the point of sale that we had just now. You've got debit cards, credit cards, payment gateways, okay? Invoicing. Okay, invoicing works on this basis. We can connect to the invoicing system of a customer or sales system of a customer, or we can help you do that invoices, okay? We park it onto a server. When your customer wants to pay, he is required to key in an ID and a password. This ID will be tied to the list of invoices that he has. So when he keys it in, we pull those details from the server. All the invoices that are there will be listed. He will pick the one that he wants. He pays for it. Customer side, what happens is that we will state the invoice, who paid, when it was paid, how much was paid for it. How much more of reconciliation do you need? All the details are there, right? That's on the invoicing bit. Next one, FPX, direct debit. Okay, these are platforms that are available in Malaysia for collection. FPX, okay, picture yourself, you're buying an airline ticket. Okay, so when you want to buy an airline ticket, you say pay. When you pay, it gives you a list of banks. That airline company prescribes to the FPX of a bank. They are the merchants, okay? So they will have a list of banks that you have. So when you click onto that, it takes you to the website of that bank. So that's the bank where your account is at. So you key it in, okay? So your account gets debited, the airline company gets credited, the FPX is done by his bank. Direct debit, on the other hand, you buy an insurance policy, you fill up a form, right? Your insurance agent comes to you, you say, okay, debit my account with Maybank, for example, okay? So let's say this insurance agent, his banker is Hong Leong. So Hong Leong will take this set of forms that have been filled up. So they'll pass it to Maybank. Okay, Maybank, this date, you're supposed to debit this amount for this policy number. So what happens is that debiting happens, crediting happens, we know the invoice number, we pass it to the insurance company as a bank. Okay, so that's direct debit. And FPX, I've explained all of this. I'm so sorry I didn't show you this slide. Can I move on? Okay, all right. We also do bulk payroll, supply payment, and the whole works. Bulk payroll, you upload files to us, any kind of bulk payment. May it be payroll, may it be you want to pay commission to your agents, you want to pay dividends. You upload the file. It can be within the bank, it can be intra-bank. So what happens is that based on that, what you've uploaded, we will actually credit it to those companies where those accounts are with all the banks, right? Any questions? Okay, how do you do it? You can do it through an internet banking system, right? It can be as simple as an Excel file that you convert to a CSV file and you upload. It's as simple as that, okay? So this actually saves you a lot of time because it's an end-to-end. And you actually get to check through your internet account who has been paid, when it was paid, Okay, what happens is that, let's say, for example, an account is frozen. So you can't credit any funds in, right? It comes back as a return. The bank even tells you that, unable to credit. We can't tell you why, but we'll just say unable to credit, unless it's a closed account or something like that, right? Okay. Bulk payroll and supply payment. You actually has control purposes. You have a maker and a checker. If I am with the HR department, I will prepare the detailed file. Let's say SK is actually with the finance department who needs to verify this. He will only see a one balance amount, so it's called masking. He doesn't see the details, but he sees the total value of the file, okay? And the next person approves it. So you've got a maker, verifier, checker. So what happens is that the bank will actually do a workflow for you to fit your needs. That is how the payment platform works. Sharia compliant, it's a service, right? Okay, any questions? And how do we verify, how does the approver approve it? You've got what is called a challenge response token. This is something like a little calculator. So every time there's a request for a financial payment, this token is triggered. It will come up with a PIN number, okay? You would key in this PIN number. As a bank, would I know that you actually press this? It gets onto the audit trail of this token machine, all right? So end to end, it is secure. Any questions? Okay. All right, e-payment solutions. We have got single payments, we have bulk payments, and we have account management. Single payment is a one-to-one payment. Bulk payment is you give us a file with thousands of records where we will process and we will submit. It can be within the bank, it can be across the bank. So if you're an SME who needs to make payment out to your suppliers, all you have to do is, through a file, pass it to us. It's PNC, you encrypt the file. Comes to us, we decrypt it. So in between, there are firewalls, right? The encryption and decryption are security to make sure there's no hacking of data. So one, you would have been preparing it using your maker, checker, authorizer, using the token. The file is encrypted, comes to us, we decrypt, and only then we do the crediting, right? Okay, with that, I think we should do away with checks and we should go online, right? Okay. Thank you.
Right, I'd like to open the floor for any questions. We've got about 10 minutes, so probably time for 2 or 3 questions. Don't all come. Oh, very good. I'll just take the mic back from you. Sorry.
Oh, he has a mic. He has a mic.
No, no. Yes, your question. Where
Thank
you
you very
from?
much for the lovely presentation. My name is Ahmed Fauzi. I'm from the commercial office of the Embassy of Egypt in Kuala Lumpur. I have 2 questions. The first one is, how do you tackle the change of the mindset for people who sometimes they don't even use the internet, like the old generations of small and medium enterprises? How do you change this mindset? And the second question is, sometimes we hear about very big corporations with very big security, and then suddenly we hear about hacking and a lot of data coming out, being spread. So how is this possible, and how do you tackle it? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay. I think we need to start small, right? My experience, we've done e-procurement for our customers. We realized that some of these businesses are family businesses. The parents don't want to go online. You know, the trust is so great in e-procurement with certain industries that they can name their supplier on the check, give a stack of checks with an amount, but not dated, okay? That's the trust. So when we first spoke to this company, we told them we'll do procurement for them. And they were saying that, oh, our dealers won't use it. But you know what happened? Some of the older dealers, second generation came on board. Okay? And second generation, the kids told the dad, I don't think, you can't trust them so much. I don't think you should be issuing checks. Today a check is 50 cents. If I use IBG, it's 10 cents, right? Why don't we try this? So this company had 200 dealers. When we started, it was very slow. When they started seeing that this guy had gone onto it, how fast it was, he said, oh, Recon, I don't have an issue. And it just started growing. Within 6 months from the first sign-on, we signed on all 200 companies. So I think you need to start small. We also have cases where we actually have to incentivize them, right? We dangle a carrot. We state that, okay, if you do this, we'll do this for free, we will give you this. So they don't channel everything, they start slowly. They have that feel-good factor, they do it. And these guys are dealers. So when they have dealer meetings, they actually, when they have something good to say about it, you will find fellow dealers going on with that. Yeah? Okay.
Just to add on to, is the mic on? Yeah. Just to add on to that part, I think change management of the SME business actually comes from the success story. So if you see around and then you see a lot of competitors who are doing on this online business and you see a lot of a success story, their mindset will be changing towards this kind of a business. You probably in this Malaysia, probably you are hearing a lot about, My Taxi, sorry. My Taxi wasn't around here like 5 years ago, right? But then everyone is using it. And all these taxi drivers, they are accustomed to this kind of a My Taxi, subscribing it, and they know how to settle their payment with them. So are we expecting them to learn ahead of the business? Probably not. But we need to give them some kind of success stories first, so that they will be following up with the trend that is going around. Onto your second question, which was more around the cybersecurity, the data leakages and then stuff like that. I mean, SMEs, of course, they have limited resources, so I don't think they can have the same level of security system as the big MNCs and enterprise. However, what is more important is, I mean, even for the MNCs, when they are having this kind of leakage problems, it is not really from their core business. Actually, it flows out through the partners or some branches or some materials that they used before, but then they didn't really had a good end mile usage. Those leakages are coming from very end point. So what I'm trying to say around the SMEs are, first you have to do some kind of sanity check in the beginning to see you are not really leaking any kind of simple things to outside world. However, in the second phase, if there's any kind of issue like this, how you want to confront and how you want to actually face this kind of problems, how can you actually deal with this kind of problems will be the second best thing that you can do. Meaning, you have to have some kind of processes and policies ready, someone who will be dealing with the ready-made type of backup, so that they will be able to confront the issues, and then they can actually deal with all this media and then also consumers who are dealing about their securities and their data. Third, and it's not the last one, is you have to have some kind of solutions ready. There are a lot of different IT solutions readily available in the market, which will be helping you around encryption of the data, and then also different ways of protecting your data from the outside attack. So buying those data and then applying those data, those solutions might give you some kind of a relief in the first place, even though you do not have the big investment into the IT system. Okay. Thank you.
Right. Probably time for one more question. Is there anyone? Sure.
Hi, my name is Tina. I'm from Zilza. I would just like to ask, if I'm an SME and I have a really great website or an e-commerce site, but I want to get that message across to the general public, what would you recommend would be the most cost-efficient method to reach out to my target market?
So there are different things. I mean, it is about increasing the traffic around your website, right? So when you are doing this kind of thing, there are techniques called SEO, SEM. So it's like a search engine optimization, search engine management. So when the people are looking for keywords that is related to your product and services, they will be actually directing your website from that search engine. So that is the common thing that they do. Second, probably I will be analyzing who are your target customer, where they are usually going into, and probably try to do some digital marketing around those areas, whether it's the website that they are usually going into, or whether it's a Facebook page that they usually go into. We try to then partner with them and then probably have some kind of a marketing activities around there to link them into your website to increase the traffic there. Another way will be probably you can then put your product and services somewhere which is existing already. Things like open market or some home shopping or some kind of online channels like Lazada, Zalora, which are already available in here, to try just to give them some kind of promotion type of thing. So it's not really linking the traffic to your website, but to give them some kind of upfront knowledge around your product and services, so that they will be able to recognize your product when they are coming into your website. So that will be my 1, 2, 3 recommendation upfront.
Thank you very much to both of you for your time. Sungkyu Chang, partner, EY Advisory Practice from Ernst & Young Malaysia, and Jagjit Kaur, Head of Digital Innovation and Transactional Banking for Hong Leong Islamic Bank Berhad. Thank you to both of you. Round of applause.